Hello friends, foes, and other watchers on the internet. My name is Matt, and you're watching Hogwash Gaming. And today I'm going to be talking to you about RPG characters. And there are different types of those characters. Basically, who do you want to play as? There are wizards, there are Jedi, there are scientists, there are all sorts of characters, and what does it mean to be one or the other? Well, first off, let's go back to what last video was about. Succeeding, failing checks, the basic mechanics of an RPG. Depending on what game you're playing, there might be different races and different classes that will have an advantage over the other in certain activities. For instance, a hobbit will have a better time of hiding than a half-orc would. And then a Gungan might have a better ability to swim than, say, a Wookiee. Those are race differences, and they are like the basics that you can't change about your character. It's who they are, it's what they are. And by choosing those races, you'll have advantages in some areas and disadvantages in others. So when you're making your character for your adventure, take into consideration what kind of adventures you're going to be going on. And also talk to your GM and make sure that it's okay to make certain decisions. Like, he might be running a game where there are no elves, so you can't play an elf character. So just keep that in mind. And secondly, as I mentioned before, there are classes. There are things that your character is skilled at. Are you a professional singer? Are you a trained warrior? Are you a merchant that's really good at negotiation? Depending on which class you choose, you could be good at one thing and not so great at another. If you're a magic user, you probably don't want to be right in the middle of the front lines because you don't have a lot of armor. Similarly, if you're a soldier, you probably don't want to be the one trying to fix the computer in the spaceship as it hurtles down to the ground. And that's why it's important when you're playing with other people to have a variation of characters, where one person is good at this thing and another person is good at the other thing. So when you come up against a situation where this is hard for this person, this guy can take care of it, and vice versa. Now, how will you know all of this stuff? Well, that requires a lot of studying of the books, and that's why I got them, so then I could study them up and find some pretty cool rules that go along with things. When you're building your character, take a very close look at the things that your species will give you and your class will give you. If they overlap, then maybe you want to try something a little different just so you're not being redundant and not getting the benefits you need. Another thing to take into consideration is how will that interact with the other people. If one of your characters is a peace-loving, stalwart, lawful Jedi that always follows the rules, will it work really well with a scoundrel in the group? That being said, don't be afraid to do that. It makes for a very interesting story. That's why Obi-Wan Kenobi and Han Solo were a great mix, because one guy was like really wise and the other guy was really spontaneous. And together, they could get stuff done. Now, if you're like, okay Matt, so what are you saying? What should I choose? You're telling me to be careful and to do my research, but that's not really helping me figure things out. What do you advise? Well, that's a huge subject, because there are so many RPGs, and they're all different. What I would do is I would go to a channel like Don Forgecast and watch some of his videos on the different races and stuff in the different systems. He's spent a lot more time than me in RPGs, and he's really good at explaining things. In fact, he's got a whole bunch of videos that are about helping GMs learn how to run the game better. I've subscribed to him. It's a really great channel, and I suggest you go check it out. And next video, I'm just going to be explaining what you need to know in order to be a good GM. So until next time, this is Hogwash, over and out.